Welcome to Animal Posse, the podcast dedicated to the people and rescues making a difference in the lives of animals. Welcome back. Today, I am thrilled to be talking with Beverly Paladinetti. She's been a staple at Perfect Peaches Cat Rescue in Georgia for a long time, helping out as a board member and a grant writer. And today, we are going to be talking about cats. Hi, Beverly. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
No, this was great. It'd be great to talk about cats, my favorite thing.
Yes, my favorite subject as well. So I'm interested to hear about all the stuff that you do. I understand that you are a veteran in the kitty cat world and you are also involved with Perfect Peaches Cat Rescue. To start, tell us a little bit about yourself. How is it that you became to get involved in cat rescue?
As with some of our other volunteers, I had my kitties for a very long time. And after they passed, I wanted to donate the cat towers and other things. And I knew that there was a rescue at our local PetSmart that held adoption events. So I connected with them and I dropped off those items to the rescue and just always stopped by and petted the cats. I wasn't really ready to get another kitty at that time, but then they talked me into coming over to the rescue and sitting in a free room. So after I sat in the middle of the room and had kitties all around, I was sold. From that point on, I've had cats all my life, and now I have three foster fails. So yes, I'm a very happy, crazy cat lady, if you will.
It's funny because I got started a similar way. Being a cat lover, I would always make cat t shirts. So I had a volunteer from one of the local cat rescues come in by me, and she came to get some cat t-shirts made. And she was talking to me. She heard that I loved cats and she said, "Oh, come check out PetSmart." Of course, I went and checked them out over there. And she said, "Oh, I got these three little kittens. They're just weaning right now if you want to foster them." And so that's how they hooked me. I think it's like a ploy. I think there's something with that.
Yeah, when I started doing my fostering of mine, the director called and said she had a cat that had been at the vet for several weeks and that she was ready to go home, but she needed to be tube fed. So I have a background in healthcare, being in healthcare for 30 years, non clinical, but yet in healthcare for 30 years. And so I took her, that's Maggie, and I tube fed Maggie until Maggie started to eat her baby food. And so when the tube came out, Maggie kept eating, and that was great. Maggie had to be tube fed because she had such a severe upper respiratory infection that she would not eat. Now she, unfortunately, when she breathes, she's wheezing only because of all the infection and probably her sinuses that never developed properly. And so then I have Oreo. Oreo was one that I actually trapped and took over to the rescue and never got adopted. They said he didn't do well at PetSmart. And so I just had to bring him back home. I didn't like him being in a cage. I would actually use in free room over there. And then Milo, my most recent one, he is FIV positive. He had to have a total full mouth extraction because of stomatitis. I took him from Atlanta up to Woodstock to a cat only community cat clinic, which the girls were great there. And they took very good care of him. They loved him. I said, I don't know how he's going to be in a cage because he's not used to being in a cage. And when I came to pick him up, they had to tell me stories how they've never had a cat purr after having surgery. And oh, I took him in the exam room and ate lunch with him. And it was just so heartwarming, what they did. Now I have Milo. They called me and said, congratulations, you've adopted Milo. So Milo is the third in my crew. They're all tuxedos, and hopefully I won't be fostering anymore. But I love all the babies. We have over 100 now. We do have babies coming in now to be bottle fed, and we have brooders thanks to a grant that we got from someone, and we just have made our way over the 10 years that we've been open.
Yeah, I do the bottle feeding too, and I just got some of the brooders because I was fortunate enough to get the grant from Mission Meow.
Right,
And
we did too. Yes, I love Mission Meow. I love
yeah,
Sally.
yeah, Mission Meow is awesome. And these brooders, like I finally got to use the brooders. I had some 3 week olds that I put inside the brooder. And so they were just on the verge of weaning. They weren't going to need it for very long. But I will say the brooder is an absolute game changer because before what I was doing is I'd keep them in a carrier. I'd have the heating discs that I would warm up. So it kept them warm. It did the job. But I would find that they would get restless in the carrier and I'd be trying to get work done and they're crying, wanting to come out, wanting attention. And I find the brooder just, they get in that brooder, they're in there, it's nice and warm, they sleep. And if they wake up, they're just playing with each other. It's a total game changer. I'm so grateful to have received these.
And we added the oxygen concentrator to ours so that we had oxygen and heat, which is great. Little babies, how their body temperatures have to be and can drop at any moment's notice. But yeah, we've had some, we get them from our local animal shelter. Somebody brings them there, of course, without mama. And they automatically give us a call to come pick them up because they don't have the staff that, is needed to take care of such small babies. And, they would euthanize otherwise, but they know now. And they always call us with neonate babies, and we use all of our breeders that we have. And you're right, they're wonderful things. They probably saved several of our cats last year because we did kind of like you did. We got little carriers, basically, they're nebulizer boxes that we bought from Amazon, but those have lights and can keep them warm, but there's not a lot of room in there to move around. So we were so happy when Miss Meow chose us and we were able to buy our breeders.
Yeah, they are wonderful. It definitely is making life a little bit easier for me with dealing with the baby. So I can't wait to get feedback from a foster as well. But in my area, it's hard for us to actually find bottle feeders. That is like where we struggle the most. We're in the New Orleans area and there is
Uh-huh.
a handful of us. I could just almost name everybody that I know that does bottle feeding, and it's a short list. I wish that's one thing that we definitely need is more bottle feeders.
Yeah, people are afraid. You know how tiny they are, you know how fragile they are. And yeah, it's always what if? Well, what if I did this or what if I did that? You do the best you can. You're taught well. They're just not given to you and said at the end, they'll have a good time until they get bigger. We don't do that. Yeah, there is some people it's just a scare factor.
Yeah, I agree. I've been trying to do some bottle feeding classes to get people over that too. Because I think it is overwhelming a lot of the times when you look at the information that's online on bottle feeding because it's so strict. Oh, you've got to do this, you've got to have this amount of formula. And I do think that it's stressful for people because if you're going by those guidelines and you notice that your kitten is short on eating the amount, you freak out sometimes, like something's going to happen. So it's trying to help people get over that fear.
And some kittens will eat and fall asleep, and you can't keep them awake long enough to eat, what they should. And that's okay as long as you're putting on weight and they're growing and they'll be fine. I couldn't do it. I know what to do. And I've bathed them when they've come in from the shelter. We had a set of four without mothers last year. And me and another volunteer bathed them and wrapped them up in their little burritos, got them nice and warm and stuff. But I don't know if I could bottle feed, even though I've potentially done that before, but not long term. The thing is, the tube feeding I did on Maggie is not the same you would do on your neonate kittens.
Uh-huh.
And the reason is they put her tube in right below where she swallows
Uh-huh.
and didn't put like a tube down her nose the bottle babies have to have. But yeah, there was a tube big enough on the end to put like a syringe without a needle on it with the gooey, mushy cat food to like press in. but it was just below where she swallowed. So it's not it's tube feeding, but it's not what we think of when we do neonate kittens.
I love the name of the cat rescue that you're with. It's Perfect Peaches Cat Rescue. Where are you located and what duties do you do outside of foster failing for the organization?
Yeah, are we always foster failing? I must tell you that Perfect Peaches started as death row dogs, and then they decided, no, we really want to take care of cats too. So they did a DBA and started Georgia Humane Society. That went on for a couple of years. What I started with was Georgia Humane Society. When the director fell ill and had to resign, a board was formed, myself and some other long term volunteers. And we started saying, we really need to rebrand because people think that we get government funding, which we don't. And we had names tossed out there, see what people thought we should rename ourselves. Came up with 4 or 5 we thought might be good, and then everybody voted, and Perfect Peaches won. So we came up with the new logo, the new branding, and all that stuff, which has been well receptive. Everybody loves the name. We're located in Douglasville, Georgia, just west of Atlanta, not too far. And we hold our weekend adoptions at PetSmart in Douglasville. We are on Pet Finder and Adopt a Pet. So any cat that is adoptable in our organization is listed there. And because of that, we do a lot of weekday by appointment adoptions as well. It's really increased our adoption rate being online. The farthest adopter has come from New York, actually. She has time with the cat because she couldn't be here for a meet and greet. And our adoption coordinator is a Delta flight attendant. So she managed to say, you're coming into Hartsfield. I can meet you at the airport. I can have the documentation I know you need. And then you can take your cat home back home with you to New York. And she did that. And then the adopter sent us pictures of him like looking out the window on all the buildings in New York, living his best life. So that was pretty great.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's great when you get to get those updates too from adopters. That's what makes it worth it.
Yeah, we're really good. We use Shelter Manager. We have programmed it to send I think it's 3 weeks out after adoption, a post adoption follow up email to ask the adopter, how's it going? Please send us pictures, those kind of things. And a lot of our adopters will send pictures and updates on how the cat's doing, which is really great. And we use that for social media.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that they had the software that would do that.
Yeah, luckily, one of our board members, he's not on the board any longer, but he was an IT guy and he set up Shelter Manager for us. And then there's programs within Shelter Manager, and one of them was you could tell it to send a email out 3 weeks out after adoption. And so we came up with just a general thing, and it fills in the name of the cat and how's he or she doing and that kind of thing. And we get a lot of great stories back, and a lot of them that just they say felt right at home day one that they got there. But we do also give them information on how to contact us right after adoption, should they have questions or something come up or those kind of things. We don't just throw the lifeline out there and say, oh, sorry, wait 3 weeks. We give them information on how to reach us right away if they need to.
How much time do you spend a week volunteering with Perfect Peaches?
Believe it or not, I am at the rescue every Wednesday in the isolation room taking care of the sick cats that we have. So, just in isolation, I probably spend 3 to 4 hours cleaning. I check on all the cats, to make sure they're all medicated and happy and eating and those kind of things. I've been doing that for many years. I'm also the grant writer, so I'm doing things not at the rescue, but at home, sitting with my laptop. So, depending if I have to fill in for someone vacation time or whatever, I'm there 8 hours, maybe 10 a week. I'm retired now, so I have plenty of time. And of course, I'm on the internet looking for grants for spay and neuter and other things all the time because we are all volunteer and we don't have any large corporate grants, unfortunately. No government grants yet because I'm the only grant writer, self taught too, only grant writer. But somehow the system just provides for us. When the guy that came in, the second part of our Mission Meow grant was to be able to install a fire alarm system. And when the guy came in to install it, he goes, "You're taking care of God's creatures." And I said, "God certainly takes care of us because every time we think, what are we going to do? Someone donates, some grant comes up, something that always gets us, keeps us along."
Right. Since you're self-taught with being a grant writer, I know that's where a lot of rescues struggle, is doing the grant writing. Do you have any advice?
The adoption of AI is great because I am a terrible writer. I don't mind admitting that, but AI has really helped me. It can't give the heart that you feel that I put in it, I think, as far as other things to be more concise and things like that. It is a very good tool to use as long as it's reviewed and maybe rewritten. So that's great. I also find a lot of good tools online. Just Maddie's Fund, it has their whole resource library of things. I would recommend them. And just people online on chats. There's plenty of grant social media groups and those kind of things you can learn from. Unfortunately, being in animal welfare, there's not many of us to talk to one another. And being small like we are, a lot of the ones that have more money coming in, big corporations and stuff, they don't have the same kind of problems we do, obviously. So it's learn as you go. It's not that hard, just because I'm passionate about what we do to get that passion in there. Unfortunately, our financials and things just don't prove sometimes for some of these, but live and learn. Now that we're in a good year two, because we changed names in 2023, so now we're our year two of grants. We have started getting return grantees, people granting to us this year, which is great. I've got to get a shout out. I'm not going to tell you who the name of the place is, but I just got, for the very first time, the largest grant I've ever gotten grant writing at $27,000. So,
Wow,
and I didn't.
congratulations on that. That's wonderful.
Yes, it is. I was like, wow. And the thing is, I really didn't know. I had someone contact me and was interested. You are, what do you do? And can you send me, let's talk about it. And I said, if you find any grants or think of hear anything on animal grants, which are few and far between, unfortunately, here in the South, I said, please let me know. And so it was like a month or so later, she sends me an email and says, can you just send me an email in general on what you do and what you provide and that kind of thing? So I sent her a general email. And a couple of weeks later, I get an email that says, congratulations, you've been awarded $27,000 from this grantor, which I never even heard of the person before. But I guess maybe she knew someone that was out there looking and kept me in mind. So it never hurts to network. It really doesn't because you never know who may help you.
Yeah, I
And I
definitely
know.
agree on that. And that's one thing I have to say too with Mission Meow. They do have the support group. Everybody can help each other out. My philosophy, of course, is if we're going to help animals, we have to all help each other out too. That's how you get animals in homes.
When I first started doing this, I was disheartened with the fact that nobody wanted to share grant names with me. I was green at doing it. I needed help, and everybody wanted to like offer general help, but nobody wanted to give me grant names. So that was kind of my big thing. I did learn how to research on my own and stuff, but it would have made it better if somebody could have said, oh, you might want to try this one or that one. And I understand we are all going after the same money. We all need our money, but it would have been helpful if I'd had at least a few to get along with. Now I'll pass them along. People are out there that used to get government grants and stuff. they're going after the same grants I am. And that's okay because of the situation. I've learned now that there's other places to research and that kind of thing. I use the grant portal. I've used Grant Station. I had Grant Watch for a while. I've Googled, I've done a lot of different things. And I thought this year I'm going to start networking and just see where that leads me and make some more contacts and maybe people that don't themselves or their business doesn't have grants, but that can keep me in mind should a conversation come up or those kind of things because we're small and every dollar counts with us. And we try to get that. And we do now, we do community outreach too. People will talk to me about their pet. We'll talk to them about animal cruelty. We'll tell them about the pet food pantry, those kind of things. But you just have to keep at it.
Yeah, that's wonderful on your grant. Again, congratulations. I know I already said it, but that is absolutely wonderful. You said you're a
Right.
small rescue. Do you have a building? Because since you did say you have an isolation room, or is that like a foster's
Yes.
house or?
Well, yeah, we have a 1970s ranch on a basement house that is owned by one of our volunteers. And so we have different rooms for things. We have our intake room where animals first stay when they first get there. They stay there for 2 weeks. We just quarantine them there. Then we have nursery that they get moved into, and that's for is when they are taken to be spayed or neutered, and they come back and we vaccinate them and we microchip them. Then we have 2 free roam rooms for older kittens and older cats. The older cats are in one room. Getting out of the kitten stage is like in another room. And we have an isolation room, and it's not a truly isolation, but we have bigger cages. And that's where we put all the ones with upper respiratory, if they've had surgery. That's one thing we do, I should mention, is that we take cats from shelters that need eye removals or they need leg amputations. And we take those, we get the surgeries. Of course, they stay with us a little bit longer that way. But we have a bunch of doctors here that we just love because they love our three legged, one eyed cats. They do. We have no problems having them adopted. So, that's good for us because I don't think anybody else in our area does that.
Yeah, that is great to hear. I actually have a cat at home. She was born without eyes, and blind cats are absolutely amazing. And then we just got another one. He was abandoned, and the lady brought him to me thinking he had an eye infection. She's, oh, I think he's got a pretty bad eye infection. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Just go ahead and you bring him to me. So she sends me a photo, and I could see the one eye had the third eyelid up. And then the other eye, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't think there's an eye there. So sure enough, I asked her, I'm like, is he missing an eye? And she couldn't tell. And honestly, like the way it was is you really almost couldn't tell that there was no eye. But yeah, he was missing one eye. And then the other eye, the third eyelid protruded over it to protect it. It's one of those syndromes that they have when they're born with those small eyes. But yeah, they're amazing cats. The blind cats, the way that they get along, and people always feel sorry for them with these eye removals, and I'm like, "They're fine."
Yeah, they learn. We've got one cat that one of the fosters has failed on this one, but he knows his way up and down the stairs, around her house, all that. We've got blind and deaf cats that people will adopt. We've got cats that only have the front part of their eye and the other part isn't filled in. I don't know exactly what that's called, but we've had a couple of those where we've had to do it's not really an enucleation, they just go in and clean up the eye socket and then sew the eye shut. But yeah, we've seen some incredible things that normal people just don't see.
And how many cats do you help a year?
Last year, we adopted out 787 cats. We tuned over 800 cats. So That was our largest year ever last year. I don't know how we did it, but we did. It was a horrendous kitten season. And a lot of our volunteers have been with us for a long time. And I think that really helps us too. And the fact that even though we're small, we've disseminated jobs out now to where everybody has their part that they do, which makes it so much easier. And I think that's part of it as well. If you get talking to any of our fosters or any of our volunteers, they love what they do. They love taking care of the kitties. They all have foster fails or have adopted, that kind of thing. And I think that helps a lot too to be able to like accomplish things that otherwise would have not been possible.
What is your secret with getting so many great volunteers? Because I know in my area we struggle with that too. It's hard to find volunteers.
They get in there. We have people of all ages and from all different, sometimes different places of the world. They come in and we have a chat group for the different groups that we have, like the adoption group has a chat group. The volunteers in general have a main chat group. The board has a chat group, just those kind of things. So that way you stay updated and you stay involved. Everybody loves to text now. That's what that is. It's just a chat group. And so I think that helps. We also do a lot of volunteer appreciation things. This weekend, we're having a volunteer appreciation out at one of our board, or actually our director's home. She's going to bring in dinner and we have outdoor games and we're going to have a bonfire and just hang out because we all don't get to see one another because we all are there at different days and different times. So we try to make it feel like we're all involved. We know that you're there. We appreciate what you do. And I think that helps too. Last year, we had no time to breathe to even do any of that. But as rescue isn't for everyone. We're patient with those as well. We tell people, like when I go out to festivals and I'm out there and I'm telling people what we do, I said, no, there's a lot of things you can do to help us. I start naming off the things. When I get to cleaning the rescue house, I go, okay, this isn't for everyone. But if you have a cat, you're used to cleaning litter boxes, you would be great at doing this. Just cleaning litter boxes isn't for everyone. That's crazy cat people.
If you have people, then they don't want to clean litter boxes, but they want to do something else at, say, an adoption event, will you just find something else for them to do?
Yes, anyone can also go to the adoption event. And a lot of people, that's their niche. They love talking to people and finding those animals new homes. They just have to find their niche. Some just like doing the vet runs. And, everybody asks me, what can I do? And I start naming off all the things they can do. You can do emergency vet runs. You can do the normal spay neuter vet runs. You can come help me at festivals. You can do adoption events. You can come help us clean in the rescue. I said, there's the things that pop up all the time that we need help with. I said, so whatever you think you would like to do, and we're flexible. I say, look, you tell me you're coming on a Thursday. I don't care what time you come on Thursday, but come on Thursday and clean the room. Or if you're going to come on Saturday for the adoption event, they start at 1 o'clock. You've got to be there at 1. I said, but otherwise, we're real flexible. And I think people like that too, that you have the flexibility of saying, okay, I told them I'd be there on Tuesday, but I'm not going to get there till 2 or 3 o'clock. That's okay in a lot of things. So I think with every busy schedule and things, I think the flexibility is a big part too.
So, do your volunteer appreciation parties help with things like burnout?
After kitten season, it's always good to have one because if we don't save every neonate kitten that, even though we wish we could, there's just things that happen. And then sometimes it's a lot. You have a rash of hand leukopenia, you have, something going on and it just gets crazy. I think it helps, like, after things calm down, after kitten season, just stop and have a moment with everyone because everyone feels the same. And for us that have been there a long time, we handle it better than others, the new ones. If somebody's really upset over a cat because it's sick or it's got to have surgery or whatever, if I see it, I'll take them aside and say, "This is part of what we do. We're going to save this cat's life. You'll see it and it'll come back. It will be there until it gets well, and then it's going to go to adoptions. And you'll see where somebody will quickly adopt that cat because three-legged cats, people don't care. We've had three-legged, one-eyed cats, which people, nobody's going to adopt those. I go, wait and see. There are people out there that will. I said, those people know what they're getting into because we counsel everybody before, they're able to take the animal home and we go through. These are the things that, you might want to look out for or whatever because this isn't a four-legged, two-eyed cat. But they'll adjust fine to your household. And if you have any problems or questions, give us a call. But they take a little bit more counseling because we want to make sure that those are a right fit with their new adopter.
Before we end the call, what would you say to somebody who is maybe interested in getting into rescue but hasn't jumped in it yet?
If you haven't jumped in, you are missing out on a lot of joy, a lot of laughter. Cats will surprise you. They are very loving. I call it my cat therapy. I go in there, I need to feel better, or something's horrible has happened, or whatever. I'm just not feeling great that day. Cat therapy is better than anything else. Like I said, when we got into this conversation, when they sat me down on that floor in free roam and I had cats all over me, that was the best cat therapy ever. So it's not for the faint of heart. It isn't. It's hard work sometimes, but it's very rewarding. So if you want to be a crazy cat lady or a crazy dog person, get into rescue.
Yep, I totally agree. It is very rewarding. Even fostering kittens. The kittens can be dirty, they can be messy, but they are a whole lot of fun and they will brighten up your day if you just look at them.
Yes, I took 2 kittens to the festival with me last weekend. They had a ball playing with one another. People, watching them, the kids would laugh, then they would take a nap, and then they'd be up and playing with each other again. So it's great. It really is, and it really helps your heart and helps your spirit. You know that you have to take care of these animals, and you'll do whatever it takes to take care of them, and that the end goal is that we find them new homes, which that's what some of the new volunteers ask. How do you do this? I always tell them our end goal is to find them new homes. I said, and we do that and we do it effectively.
And that's one thing that I always tell people who say something about, oh, they don't want to foster because they couldn't give them up. And it's no, when you see the home that they're going to and you know that they're going to a really good home, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah. And one of the great things, another reason I really stay with the rescue, this is what, 10 years ago now, is they will take a cat back regardless of how long you've had it. Life changes, stuff happens. We'll take a cat back at any time during their lifetime. That way, they're not thrown out in the street, put in colonies where they aren't going to survive and they'll suffer. We always take them back.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today with me, Beverly.
No, thank you for having me. I love to talk about cats. People, they know me now, so and I'll ask them how their kitties are and that kind of thing. But it's a great conversation. I love what I do. And again, I'm very passionate about it. Sometimes too passionate, probably, but very passionate about what we do, what the rescue does, what it's done for the West Georgia area, and how we've built relationships and partnerships with other rescues, other shelters, and things like that. Again, enjoy it. You just have to do it. If you have never done it, give a day, see what you think, and see if you can go back. If you have a cat, then you know what it is to take care of them. And it's just, again, very rewarding.
And here's to hoping y'all have another 700 cats adopted because that's amazing.
Yes. But about killed us. If that's what it takes to see us, we all say that. We're not shy about that. But if we all had to do it again this year, and it's been quiet so far, but we'll do it. We'll find a way to do it somehow.
That's it for today's episode of Animal Posse. If you love what we're doing, please consider becoming a member. Your support directly helps us continue highlighting the people and stories that save lives across the country. Just a quick reminder, the views and opinions expressed by our guests are theirs alone and are provided for entertainment purposes. They don't necessarily reflect the official position of the show, and this information should never replace the advice of your own veterinarian. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bars in the night, claws in the fight, whiskers twitch and tails take flight. They're calling in stories to spin from the wild to the heart within. Broken wings and hopeful springs, we're the voices for these things. Animal Posse, hear the call. We stand together, big and small. Rescue tales, we've got it all. Animal Posse, saving them all. The vet's got tips, the rescuer's grit, the foster homes where love won't quit. From a pup in the rain to a bird in pain, every soul's worth the strain. Animal Posse, hear the call. We stand together, big and small. Rescue tales, we've got it all. Animal Posse, saving them all. Every caller tells a tale, every howl a whispered wail. We rise up, we never fail. This is the bond, the holy grail. Animal Posse, hear the call. We stand together, big and small. Rescue tales, we've got it all. Animal Posse, saving them all. Every caller tells a tale, every howl a whispered wail. We rise up, we never fail. This is the bond.